you know, I see bands play that are air quotes punk, and they have people behind these shiny, you know, barricades that are up to their chest 15 feet away from the band. The fuck is that? That's nothing I want to be part of. That's nothing I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it was like hardcore was, you couldn't tell who was in the band, who was in the audience, and it would change. People would just jump up on stage, grab a guitar from somebody else, especially in New York. It was so incestuous. And that's what, you know, hardcore was to me. You don't want to be in a rock band. You know, I played fucking festivals. I played, my band Sib, like rock shows and had the barricades. It's fucking boring. It's like being at practice. Mm-hmm. You got fans blowing on you. Can't even break a sweat. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not getting anything across. You're not connecting with people. You're not touching anybody. No one's touching you. You know, there's no one else to sing. You know, letting people sing with you. Yeah. It's just rock. I think the messages and like the people and the ideas, it came because you had to do it by yourself. It wasn't like we were like rich kids who were going to start a rock band and had like leather pants and hairspray and cool guitars. Everything was pretty budget, and that was part of the thing. Like, definitely for the Cro-Mags and AF, you know, they were street kids. We were the same way. They had it harder than us, but it was the same kind of mentality, and we understood each other from being from, you know, certain areas. Like when you have 7 guys who were fucking vegetarian or vegan in the 80s, it was like you were a cult and you were fucking weirdos and whatever.
You were a cult and weirdos, basically.
We were our own little cult, a little gang, and that's but that's what we wanted. We didn't want to be any part of anything that was normal or, you know, established, or the establishment, as, you know, as cliche as that is. But that's what it was. I mean, I remember hearing Can't Close My Eyes for the first time, and I took it like to another level. Like, maybe I'm not looking at things, like I would say, like, okay, this microphone's in front of me right now, right? But am I looking at that as a microphone? Am I looking at it right in front of me? Or am I looking at this next level, this coffee cup, then there's a camera, then there's a wall? Like, I can't see everything. I have to look at everything as an individual, you know, object in this room. And this is what I kind of was trying to like figure out in my brain. Like, am I not seeing the world as I could? Like, I'm just seeing like the overview. But like, I really want to see everything for what it is. And that's what like touring was. It was just like, I'm gonna get up and, you know, or wake up and live. Like, all their song titles were like real to me, because the songs had, you know, power, and they had lyrics that made sense, and it really was like a little, you know, non-religious Bible to kind of follow in a way.
By my principles, but I don't.
No more.
We did a photo shoot for that at the band shell down all the way on the Lower East Side. It was covered in graffiti. It just looked cool, and they shot the pictures for We're Not In This Alone, their second full-length record there. And I remember walking back. We were walking east to west, and someone just dropped a cinder block like off a roof, and it went through the car window next to me. Like, you know, it was 4 feet. It wasn't really that scary, but it was still a fucking cinder block off our roof, because we were just, you know, weren't supposed to be that far down. Like, we're on Avenue D or something. It was like, get the fuck out of here. It was like, message heard. See you later. We'll run up the block now with our bleached hair and our jackets and straight edge shirts on.
If you're with me, say no!
Because I'd like to live by my principles, but I don't.
My favorite things, and still, is just to hear a good fight story. And it could be, I don't care if it's a 90-year-old man or like a 7-year-old, you know, girl. Like, you had some beef and you guys threw hands, like, let's hear it. And that's all we would do. Is we went to people's houses. There was no hotel rooms, there was no bus. Sometimes you'd sleep in the van if you couldn't get a good spot, but mostly we'd sit up all night with these kids and just talk shit. And they would ask us all these crazy questions, because, like you said, there's no internet. There's no cell phones. No one knows what happens, except it's ancient. It's sitting around the fire passing down these stories. And as stories get passed down, sometimes they get better, sometimes they get worse. Sometimes they get more romantic, sometimes they get more violent. But you know, we would hear stories about whoever, you know, a story about dudes from other cities, or a story about John Joseph or Harley, and then these kids would just be like, okay, did this really fucking happen? Did this guy really say this? Did this? And we'd be like, yeah, like he was there, you know. And like sometimes it would just be like Mike, and Mike, you know, Mike's quiet as fuck, and Mike would just be like, yeah, brother. And that's all he'd give him, you know. And then we'd have to expand on it, or like we'd, you know, make Mike tell a fight story. Or Richie had a million fight stories. He worked at a bar with Jimmy, and they would like work the door, you know. So it's like they always had a million good stories. But sometimes we would just make stupid shit up. We like in the book we talked about it. We told them, you know, we didn't have certain restaurants or super straight edge kids. We said, yeah, it's fucked up. In New York, they sell ice cream with alcohol in it, and people and kids can come to shows fucking drunk, and they were like, what? Like, it's so pissed, you know. This is like, you know, hardline straight edge, the beginning of hardline straight edge. But we were just like, you know, again, that's like one of those things, like straight edge to us was super important, but we never took it like that serious, like when we were mad about it, or if someone was drinking. Like 90% of our friends were on fucking dust, and smoking weed every day and drunk at shows, and no one cared. They were our friends, you know. Yeah. It was just like, I mean, we got into it because I got into it personally, just because I was getting too fucked up, and it was, whether it was like hip hop culture or you know, just white trash rock and roll culture, like that's all we did was drink and smoke weed from when I was 12 to, you know, like 16. So I was just over it. And I got it over with because I had an older brother and his older friends, and we all hung out. And then I realized how annoying straight edge guys were to the older punks and skinheads. So I was like, this is perfect for me. Like, and I'm in like an annoying scene that annoys everybody else. Now we're going to be the annoying guys in this scene. So it was fun. You know, everyone just drove it crazy. I was like, I'm gonna do the most stage dives. I'm gonna dance the whole show. I was the worst roadie ever. I would just put the shit on stage and I'd dance and sing along and do stage dives. And then like something broke on stage, I was like, I don't know, figure it out. Maybe sometimes I'd help Mike, but that was about it. You know, we were trying to bring. That's why my lip is fucking like this. I got kicked in the face in Philly a week ago. First song, because we don't do barricades, and I got kicked in the fucking mouth with my microphone and bleeding all over the place. And when we would do these shows, we wanted to bring a New York hardcore show. New to Today wanted to bring a New York hardcore show to, you know, Washington or San Francisco.
So you had to get in there and show them what it was.